Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's topic. As COVID-19 is on its way, I opened this show via Zoom. Sexual abuse in the 21st century. This is so much shock to many people in Korea. Today, we are going to discuss these kinds of problems with sexual expert and student representative of KNU. First, nth room case broke out in between 2019 and 2020. It is online sex crime scandal that users in chat room forced to upload explicit and violent videos into chat rooms through social media, Telegram. Plus, they exchanged these illegal videos and pornography with untraceable tools such as Bitcoin. The first appearance to the people was by Seoul Shinmun in January of 2019. They found out by conducting undercover journalism that there was a secret Telegram room which was full of underage pornography. Also, 시사저널 found out that Telegram was being used as a platform for crime for sharing illegal pictures and video. All the sexual-related murders included. Finally, in February of 2020, Jo Jubin and Gat and the 66 co-workers of nth room members were accused. They were helpers for the file for sharing and downloads. I invited Kyuri Kim first, an expert in sex education. How are you doing, Kyuri?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me. I feel a heavy responsibility to be speaking here about such a hot issue as a representative of experts.
You're welcome. Please briefly introduce yourself, please.
My name is Kyuri Kim. I am working as a sexual health educator, and I am also the author of the book, I Teach Sex Education. Over the past years, I have been trying to change the public perception of online sex crimes.
Thank you. Have you seen the news, the nth room? How do you feel about it as a female?
Well, I was quite surprised because people more than I expected were interested in this issue, and their reaction was explosive. I mean, the news about nth room news is everywhere these days.
I think so too. It's everywhere in the news. Can you tell me more about how do you mean by expected and explosive?
I mean, the public perception of sex crimes. I think this case is not a new crime, but just another form of rape culture. But people seem to perceive it as a new crime. A lot of people are blaming the victims more than ever as if this is a new type of crime. But the point here is that they should have paid attention to such issues more and earlier. Rape and sexual assault are normalized and they are downplayed due to societal attitudes about gender and sexuality. So in short, people in Korea do not really realize and perceive sex crime as a very serious problem.
That's a huge problem, I see. Thank you for your idea. And I also invited a student representative of KNU. Welcome, Hansol. How are you these days?
Hi, thank you for inviting, and I'm glad to participate today discussing a really important issue.
Thank you. Due to the information that I've mentioned earlier, how do you going to deal with this problem as a student representative?
As a student representative, it was shocking to recognize that people's awareness of the sexual assault and the law must be reformed and drafted more thoroughly. It's uncomfortable to use this word, but I think rape culture in Korea is rooted deeply, so people don't recognize that sexual harassment. In my case, students have to wear uniforms. However, when I was in high school, my school regulation was that girls must wear blouse with the jacket. One day, I forgot to wear the jacket, and the teacher came to me and said, "Why are you wearing underwear?" it was I was with other students and I was so embarrassed to hear that. And I felt that was sexual harassment. But the
Oh
teacher
my.
says that to students. What was the worst was the teacher did not recognize that was a sexual harassment.
Oh my gosh, this is so unbelievable that I feel very pity. In this kind of unrecognized situation, how should we act? Is there some
Well,
advice?
when I teach sex education to teenagers,
Mm-hmm.
most of them are aware what is right and wrong, but still some of them do not recognize what sexual harassment or abuse is. As Hansel said, in a situation where even adults do not recognize what sexual harassment is, how would children get a proper sex education?
Totally.
Um, So I think all the problems occur due to the lack of education to
Mm-hmm.
build respectful social and sexual relationships. Education system of Korea is rather so centralized on academic field that they do not spend sufficient amount of time on sex education. So we should try to encourage better sex education,
Yeah, we
and
should do that.
we totally
Sorry.
should. And also, there should be a change in victim blaming attitudes.
Mm-hmm.
And I think right now is a perfect time for the shift. Some people question the victim's level of resistance, how they dressed as Hansel's case, and
Mm-hmm.
so on. And also, for example, people blame victims because they say they were wearing revealing clothes, but we have to recognize that whether it was intentional or not,
Mm-hmm.
victims do not deserve such harsh social attitudes. Victims have
Indeed.
the right to stand up for their sexual rights, and most importantly, people should listen to and support the victims rather than doubting them.
Yes, I totally agree with the sexual rights part. We should speak up about our rights as a human. Hmm. And Hansel, do you have any opinions?
Till now, how people saw and thought of victims as because of her wearing wrong, because of her wrong conduct.
Hmm.
Women are sexually assaulted because they are wearing a short skirt. Society have been not tolerated and accepted the damage of sexual violence, and some are even saying victims also have their fault or prove
My
your
God.
purity. But through this case, the
Hmm.
way of views of victims that people looking at, thinking about will be highly improved.
Thank you. Also, we can think about the how policies or institutions act about sexual related criminal. What is the current atmosphere about that, Curie?
So the current atmosphere for now, everything including poor investigation,
Hmm.
light punishment for sex crimes, or Korean institutions not even trying to adjust such issues,
Hmm.
all create safe environment for potential criminals. Just consider how this case was revealed in public. If it were not for this poor investigation, one more criminal would not have been added.
This is so vicious. I saw a national member of our assembly who is so cynical to this problem. What do you think of this kind of attitude, Hansel?
Uh, thanks to thanks to public, hundreds thousands of people agreed for this petition to resolve digital sex crimes from Telegram.
Hmm.
This issue sent to the legislation and judiciary committee. However, the reaction were shocking. I brought some of their quotes. In Kyung Kim, who is a
Hmm.
deputy director of the court administration, he said, "I don't really know about this nth room case."
Oh my God.
And yeah, and he also said, like deepfake videos, you can think of it as a work of art.
How could he
When
say that?
I Yeah, when I read this, I think he thought this case was about making fake videos, not actual crime. And who thinks this as a work of art?
Never, never.
Yeah, I think what he said is so ridiculous. And also, Deputy Minister of Justice Kim also, he said young people and those who grow up do this often on their computers.
Oh my God.
They don't understand how serious this crime is. This is so
Totally.
pathetic situation.
True.
And most members of our assembly are filled with middle-aged men who are authoritative and elite. So I guess there's limitations of emphasizing with the heart of the victims.
I really have to be a neutral due to my position of being central. I am very surprised to their attitude of this huge problem. Now for the end of this case, I can summarize two guests' opinions. To banish this vicious problem, the crucial key factor is people's education of recognition of sexual-related criminals. Also, this method should be preceded by thorough research and investigation. As I said, this is very shocked to many people, especially for women. This huge problem should be dealt quickly as an emergency patient. Thank you for your sharing precious ideas and opinions, Kiri and Hansel. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sinun.
Thank you.